Hello everyone, and welcome to RadioCSIRT English Edition, your daily appointment with cybersecurity news. I'm Marc Frederic Gomez, your French cybersecurity voice for today's threat landscape. It's Wednesday, November 26, 2025. You're listening to episode 32, live from Paris Cyber Campus, from France. Coming up in this episode, fake Windows updates. JackFix malware spreads through deceptive Windows Update pop-ups. French advisory. CERT-FR warns of a security bypass impacting PrimX products. Platform exposure. X accidentally reveals extensive internal metadata and service endpoints. APT collaboration. Russia and North Korea intensify joint cyber-espionage operations. macOS threat. Flexible ferret malware delivered through fake LinkedIn job offers. Offensive tools. Cobalt Strike 4.12 introduces hardened beacon behavior and new evasions. Treason case. Russian tech entrepreneur arrested for allegedly leaking sensitive data. Router risk. ACOS. iCloud routers exposed to a critical authentication bypass flaw. AI compromise. NVIDIA. DGX Spark vulnerability enables theft of model secrets and full takeover. Surveillance concerns. Analysis highlights Huawei's role in large-scale monitoring systems. Emergency systems down. Cyber attack disables unsolved code RED emergency alert services. A concise technical and operational update designed for CERT, SOC, CISO, and cybersecurity professionals. We begin today's briefing with the release of Cobalt Strike version 4.12. This update brings substantial changes to evasion capabilities that are relevant to detection engineering teams. Technically, the focus is on process injection. The release introduces 4 new primitives, including RTL clone user process and thread pool manipulation via TP-Direct. These are designed to bypass standard EDR hooks. A key development is the implementation of drip loading. This technique introduces delays between memory allocation primitives, specifically to evade time-based event correlation. Additionally, the Beacon Download API now enables data exfiltration entirely within memory. By eliminating disk artifacts, this feature reduces the effectiveness of file-based forensics, highlighting the need for enhanced real-time memory telemetry. Our second topic highlights a significant shift in state-sponsored threat landscapes, the emerging operational collaboration between Russia's Gamma-Redden and North Korea's Lazarus Group. The technical evidence is specific. On July 24th, an IP address, 144.172.112.106, was flagged as part of Gamma-Redden's command and control infrastructure. 4 days later, that exact same server was observed hosting Invisible Ferret, a malware variant distinct to Lazarus, typically used in their contagious interview campaigns. From an analysis standpoint, this suggests shared or sequential infrastructure usage. This is critical because it bridges 2 distinct operational profiles, Gamma-Redden's high-tempo espionage aligned with the FSB and Lazarus's financial theft and sabotage operations under the RGB. For defenders, the takeaway is clear. Attribution based solely on infrastructure is becoming unreliable. We must anticipate hybrid campaigns that leverage Russian deployment speed with North Korean monetization toolkits. Security teams need to expand their correlation logic to track cross-group infrastructure reuse, rather than treating these actors as isolated entities. Moving on to a massive reveal in the world of information operations. X recently rolled out a feature designed to show the primary geographic location of accounts to boost transparency. Instead, it accidentally exposed a vast network of covert foreign influence targeting American political discourse. Here's the breakdown. Users instantly noticed that major accounts claiming to be American patriots or MAGA supporters were actually operating from Russia, Nigeria, and Southeast Asia. We are talking about heavy hitters like the MAGA Nation account with nearly 400,000 followers, which was revealed to be operating out of Eastern Europe. From a threat intelligence perspective, this exposes a dual-layer threat landscape. First, we have the classic state-sponsored interference, mirroring the 2016 tactics of the Internet Research Agency. But secondly, we see a massive click farming economy where foreign actors mimic US political outrage simply to game the algorithm and earn ad revenue payouts. For defenders and analysts, this is a wake-up call. While X notes that VPNs could skew some data, The sheer scale confirms that the dead internet theory is partially real in political threads. This location metadata has now become a critical vetting tool for distinguishing organic discourse from orchestrated foreign psyops. CERT-FR has issued Security Advisory Number 2025 AVI 1038 regarding the PrimX encryption suite. A vulnerability has been confirmed affecting Z Enterprise, Z Free, and Z Pro products. The advisory states that this vulnerability allows an attacker to compromise data confidentiality. The scope of the issue is limited to non-Windows agents. Specifically, it affects Linux versions on CentOS 7 and Ubuntu 24.04, as well as macOS versions prior to build 18 of the 2024.4 release. The official recommendation is to apply the patches immediately as detailed in the vendor's bulletin, specifically targeting version 2025.1.14 for Ubuntu environments. We analyze the JackFix campaign, recently documented by Acronis and corroborated by Huntress. This operation represents a significant evolution in click-fix tactics, a social engineering method that now accounts for nearly 47% of initial access attempts according to Microsoft data. The infection vector leverages malvertising to redirect users to fake adult websites. Upon arrival, JavaScript takes over the browser to mimic a critical full-screen Windows Update interface. The user is then instructed to manually open the Windows Run dialog and paste a malicious command from their clipboard. Technically, the kill chain utilizes the legitimate mshta.exe binary to execute remote PowerShell scripts. These scripts aggressively attempt privilege escalation, using the -verb runos command, looping until the victim grants administrative rights, which are then used to add exclusions to Microsoft Defender. What distinguishes JackFix is its spray and pray payload delivery. The malware drops up to 8 different infostealers simultaneously, including Radamanthys, Vidar, and Redline. Furthermore, correlation with Huntress research indicates the use of steganography, where the final shellcode is concealed within encrypted PNG images to bypass network detection signatures. We have a new development in the contagious interview campaign. Attributed to North Korean state actors, the focus has shifted specifically to macOS users, targeting developers and cryptocurrency professionals. The kill chain begins with a lure on LinkedIn, leading victims to a fake job assessment website. When the user attempts to start a video interview, the site claims a plugin error. Mirroring the click-fix tactic we discussed earlier, the user is instructed to copy and paste a curl command directly into their terminal to ostensibly update FFmpeg. Executing this command deploys Flexible Ferret, a Go-based backdoor. Its post-exploitation tradecraft is notable. It establishes persistence via a launch agent and then deploys a decoy window that perfectly mimics the Google Chrome interface. This overlay prompts the user for their system password under the guise of browser permissions. Once captured, credentials are exfiltrated to Dropbox, giving the attackers full remote control. It is worth noting the cross-platform nature of this threat. If the infrastructure detects a Windows user, it deploys the Invisible Ferret variant, linking this directly to the Lazarus Group's broader toolkit. Shifting gears to the intersection of state policy and cybersecurity in Russia, Timur Kilin, a 21-year-old tech entrepreneur and founder of Spied Security, has been arrested on treason charges. This case highlights the perilous environment for independent security researchers in the region. Kilin reportedly drew the government's ire by publicly criticizing Max, the state-backed messaging app set to be mandatory on all smartphones by 2025. From a technical standpoint, Kilin flagged critical issues: a lack of end-to-end encryption and the reliance on software libraries from potential foreign adversaries. Rather than fixing the vulnerabilities, the developers blacklisted him. Furthermore, Kilin was a vocal opponent of new legislation that effectively criminalizes the disclosure of security flaws and exploitation methods. This arrest echoes the sentencing of Group IB's Ilya Sachkov and cements a dangerous trend. The Kremlin is signaling that independent vulnerability research is no longer tolerated. For the global cyber community, this suggests a brain drain, or in this case, a silencing of domestic talent, which will make assessing the true security posture of Russian digital infrastructure increasingly difficult. Our eighth topic is a critical advisory from Asus that directly impacts the remote workforce supply chain. A new vulnerability, CVE 2025-59366, has been discovered in routers with the A-Cloud feature enabled. The mechanism here is a severe authentication bypass caused by an unintended side effect within the Samba functionality. Remote, unauthenticated attackers can exploit this to execute arbitrary code by chaining path traversal with OS command injection. This requires zero user interaction. The context is vital. This vulnerability feeds directly into Operation Jarta-Tehug. Intelligence indicates that threat actors, likely Nexus China, are actively weaponizing these vulnerabilities to transform compromised routers, especially end-of-life models, into operational relay boxes, ORBS. Essentially, these devices are being recruited into a massive proxy network to hide command and control traffic for espionage operations. Immediate mitigation is mandatory. Update your firmware to the latest 386, 388, or 102 series. If you are running legacy hardware that is no longer supported, disable A-Cloud and all one-facing services immediately. These devices are now considered active liabilities. We turn our attention to the physical infrastructure powering your AI initiatives. NVIDIA has issued an urgent security update for its DGX Spark GB10 platform, the compact supercomputer designed for local AI development. The headline here is CVE 2025-33187, carrying a critical CVSS score of 9.3. The vulnerability exists within the SROOT secure root component. Technically, this allows an attacker who has already gained privileged access to the operating system to pivot deeper, bypassing protections to reach the system on chip, SoC, restricted areas. This is a nightmare scenario for AI security. Successful exploitation allows for arbitrary code execution and privilege escalation that persists beyond the standard operating system controls. For organizations, this puts your most valuable assets, your proprietary model weights and training datasets, at immediate risk of theft or subtle manipulation. NVIDIA has patched a total of 14 vulnerabilities in this release. The directive for administrators is clear. You must upgrade your DGX Spark units to version OTA 0 immediately. Given the value of the data processed on these machines, leaving the secure root component exposed is not an option. Topic number 10 takes a step back to examine the strategic supply chain risk associated with Chinese vendors. We are looking at an excerpt from the book House of Huawei, featuring a rare testimony from Wan Runan, the exiled founder of Stone Group. Once known as China's IBM, Wan recounts a chilling meeting in the 1980s Beijing. Local officials informed him that the Ministry of State Security, MSS, would be embedding undercover agents directly into his company's international divisions. The official narrative was protection, but the reality was direct state infiltration. The connection to Huawei is critical. Wan asserts with certainty that if his computer firm was targeted, Huawei, which deals in telecommunications, faced the exact same demands. As he puts it, telecoms control a nation's lifeline, and every communication system has a back-end platform ripe for eavesdropping. For security leaders, this isn't about a specific bug or backdoor. It validates a core assumption in third-party risk management. Within the Chinese tech ecosystem, the separation between private enterprise and state intelligence is structurally non-existent. This is a reminder that the risk is not just in the code, but in the organizational design itself. We conclude today's briefing with a direct hit on public safety infrastructure. Unsolved Code Red, the emergency notification system relied upon by thousands of U.S. municipalities for critical alerts, from wildfires to active shooter events, has been crippled by a major ransomware attack this November. The Group Inc. ransom has claimed responsibility. According to their leak site, they breached the network on November 1st and deployed encryption on November 10th. After negotiations failed, they began dumping stolen data. Most alarmingly, screenshots confirm the exfiltration of databases containing clear text passwords, putting both residents and emergency operators at risk of secondary account takeovers. The operational fallout is severe. The legacy platform was deemed unsalvageable and decommissioned. The parent company, Crisis 24, is forced to migrate clients to a new environment using backups from March 31st, 2025. That creates a 6-month black hole in citizen contact data. For us as security professionals, this is a stark reminder that availability is often the most critical pillar of the CIA triad. When ransomware takes down a public safety system, the downtime cost isn't measured in dollars, but potentially in human lives. And that's the end of this Wednesday episode. I hope it provided clear and useful information. And if you are a new listener, feel free to subscribe to the podcast. We are available on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube channel, Deezer, and Spotify. You can share your feedback by email at RadioCSIRT@gmail.com. All open source intelligence sources used for this episode are available on RadioCSIRT.com, as well as in the episode description. See you tomorrow for a new episode. Until then, don't think, just patch. Bye.